Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's 1 Million by 1 Million Strategy Roundtable for Entrepreneurs. 1M1M, as you know, is the first and only global virtual accelerator in the world. We work out of Silicon Valley, but with a global footprint. And our mission is to help 1 million entrepreneurs reach $1 million in revenue and beyond, build $1 trillion in global GDP, and 10 million jobs. This is our 279th free public roundtable, and we have numerous private roundtables on top of these, which are for our premium members only. So we're using this roundtable format of working with entrepreneurs for a long time, and we've become very productive with this format. The event is being recorded. You will have the recording available afterwards. If you're live tweeting the show, please use hashtag 1M1M. If you want to follow us on Twitter, our handles are at 1M by 1M and at Romana. We do publish a lot of very rich, inspirational, and educational content through the channels. And the 1M1M Roundtables channel on YouTube is where you will find the recordings of all prior sessions, and this one will also go on there. So if you have missed sessions previously, please feel free to pick them up over there. These are the call-in instructions on your screen right now. We are not quite ready for call-in yet. We will put these numbers up later on when we are ready for call-in, but do start thinking about questions as you're going through this session with us, because it is a roundtable and we do want you to participate as much as possible. We're going to start today with a conversation with Greg Gianforte, an entrepreneur whom I've admired greatly for a long time. I've known him for a long time. Greg was the founder and CEO of RightNow Technologies, and RightNow went public and then eventually was acquired in 2011 for $1.5 billion. Greg, welcome. It's been a little bit of time for us to get you on here, but I'm super glad that we could make it happen.
Yeah, Romana, it's my pleasure.
So, Greg, I know you're a very big believer in the same methodology and the same philosophy that we follow here in 1 Million by 1 Million. So you started RightNow in 1997 in Montana after selling your first bootstrap startup to McAfee for $10 million. We believe in this, off-center, non-obsession with Silicon Valley. We believe that entrepreneurship should be happening everywhere. You chose Montana. Why Montana, and what was it like to start a tech company in Montana?
Yeah, so thank you again, Romana. Thanks for having me on. Montana's where my wife Susan and I wanted to raise our kids. We have 4 children, and this is a place I've been coming for a long time. It was really, the fact is the quality of life here is amazing. And we knew that I had this theory that back in the late 90s, mid-90s, that the internet was starting to change the rules of business and really removed geography as a constraint in where you locate a business. So that was a theory. We loaded up our Ford Bronco and drove our little kids in diapers all the way to Montana. And we got here and people said, well, you can't do that here. That's not possible. You don't have air travel, there's no money, you don't have the right people, and no one else has ever done it before. So that was part of it too. I like big challenges, and with a lot of people telling us it was impossible, that was actually encouragement to me.
So you bootstrapped RightNow from $0 to $6 million with no outside capital, and part of the story was that no one was going to fund the Montana startup, if I remember. How did you do it? It's a fascinating story. It's an encouraging, inspiring story. Tell us how you did it.
Well, it's really just, it's common sense and elbow grease, really. You just, it's a lot of hard work. The first thing I did, and actually there's a good resource for people. Inc. magazine did a story on the first startup. It's still available on the internet. It's called Start With Nothing. It has a picture of me sitting in an office chair in the middle of a cut wheat field with the mountains in the background and a pad of paper and nothing else. And that's really where we started. My wife and I started the business together. We did it in our home with no outside capital. And the first thing I did was I always believe the largest opportunities are created when there's some discontinuity in the business fabric. And in the late 90s, the biggest discontinuity we had was the maturation of the internet and the impact that it had on business functions that corporations had. So I was a software guy. RightNow was actually my 5th startup that I had done. And I combined really internet with software, and then I picked a business function that was being disrupted by the internet, and I just picked customer service or customer experience. And so the first month when I decided to start, I didn't write any software, although I'm a techie by training. I made 400 phone calls, and I called people that were running customer service operations for technology companies, because they tend to be the early adopters. And at first I was just calling customer service people saying, so how is the internet impacting your business? And I think that there's a lot of wisdom in, Confucius said, you're never in a position to learn until you're totally confused. So I immersed myself in with these potential clients, understanding what problems they had. And it was very clear early on that the problem was they had these call centers, they were budgeted, but they weren't getting budget to answer emails. And all the other vendors in the marketplace were providing solutions that made customer service agents able to answer emails faster. And no one goes to a website of a corporation hoping to send the company an email. They want to go to the website to find an answer. So we had a very simple idea that if we could put the answers up on the website, that would be better for customers, and it would reduce costs for the companies. So after 400 phone calls, I got to the point where I had like 4 or 5 bullets on a sheet of paper that described this product that we were thinking about. And it wasn't even really a product. It wasn't even really a feature. It was just a featurette. And that, at the end of 400 phone calls, people were starting to say, if you had that, I would pay you money for it. And then being an engineer, I locked myself in a room for 6 weeks, and I built that featurette. So I had 40 paying customers before I hired the second employee, besides my wife and myself. And so that's how we got started.
So now, I remember that it took you 2 years to get to 6 million. Our mantra in 1M, and a lot of this, I talked to you way before I started 1 million by 1 million, and several other people who believe in this bootstrap first, raise money later mantra, and that has become the 1M mantra. And you were definitely one of the key inspirations for this this mantra. And you followed that mantra and had an incredible Series A financing round in 1999. What was your Series A valuation? And please talk to our audience about the pros and cons of following this strategy. They should hear it from somebody other than me.
Yeah, so first I'll advocate for bootstrapping, which is what I call it. And I have a book that I've written. I've had the pleasure of lecturing now at Harvard and Stanford and Berkeley and London School of Business to all the MBA students on this concept of starting a company with customers' money, not with venture capital money or professional money. And it's kind of interesting when I do these lectures, the students love the presentation, but I've actually never been invited back to any of these places. So it's because it's so contrary to what these business schools teach. They teach that if you want to start a business, you write a business plan, you go raise money, and then what they don't say is you start a bonfire and you pitch the money on the bonfire and you hope there's a company there before you run out of money. And it's probably the highest risk way to start a company. So the benefits of bootstrapping are really is if you don't have any money, you can't make a fatal mistake. The number one job is to understand who your client is, how you're going to create value for them. It really forces you to put the rubber on the road and understand, do you have a value proposition to work? I mean, and it involves just going to potential clients and saying, will you give me money for this particular piece of value? So the other advantage is not only can't you make a fatal mistake because you don't have the money to do that, you end up owning most of the business. So even after we went public in 2004, the employees at RightNow Technologies still own 70% of the business. And we gave 20% of the equity to the employees even after 80% 8 years of being public, we were publicly traded from 2004 to 2012, just the residual stock options, just the ones the employees had not sold, caused our local county payroll to jump 14% in a single year. It was about $80 million that went to employees just from the residual stock options just in Gallatin County, Montana. And in a state where we're 49th in the country in wages and a lot of the young people have to leave, this has created a whole second wave of economic opportunity, so much so that 40% of all the wage growth in the whole state occurred in Bozeman last year. And so that's the thing that is great about bootstrapping, is that you end up owning the business. It allows you to create opportunities for others. And I think it's a much lower risk way of starting a business than using the bonfire approach.
And if I remember correctly, in 1999, when you raised your Series A financing with $6 million in revenue, you had a $130 million valuation. Of course, that was also the peak of the market. The dot-com bubble was in full swing, so the market was very hot.
I think it was 120, but still, it was a high valuation, and you know, we raised $32 million and sold just over 20% of the business. So we still very much stayed in control. In hindsight, I'm not sure it helped us grow any faster. We did get a new set of people on our board that were helpful to us, although at times they were distracting. So I think that I just think that, you know, every bit of money you get, whether it comes from a customer or comes from a VC, comes with strings. And I firmly believe that money you get from customers is the only one that comes with strings that actually pull you forward. The money from other sources tends to be distracting. I mean, you know, to compare a VC scenario with our startup process, you know, I spent 1 month making phone calls, 6 weeks building a product, and then I had revenue. Compare that with six months writing a business plan, 6 months of marketing it, hope maybe you get money at the end of that period. You still don't know if you have a viable product or not. So the bootstrap process allows you to fail a lot faster. So in the time it takes you to write a business plan and raise money, you probably could have tried 3 or 4 different ideas, and then you'll end up owning the whole thing, and you'll be better off in the end.
And it takes 6 to 9 months to go beat on the doors of investors and raise money, which is time you could be actually beating on the doors of customers and have a much more productive time. So, Greg, you talked a lot about... Yep, go ahead.
One thing I want to add, I have a little sign on my desk that says, which is the heart of bootstrapping. It says, nothing happens till somebody sells something.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So you talked about Montana. Tell us, how did you manage to grow in Montana? This company became quite significant, and as you rolled out some numbers on how much economic value it produced for the region, talk to us about how did you manage the growth in Montana?
We just held on. I mean, we doubled revenue and employees every 90 days for years. It was just a rocket ship, and we did that without outside capital. So we just focused on cash flow. The key thing in any business, I'm a big fan of Jim Collins' Good to Great. We used his kind of servant leadership approach, and in leadership development, we found being in a rural location, hiring was a little harder, but retention was easier. Our quality of life is huge. We also didn't suffer, and I apologize in advance for this, some of the Bay Area myopia that occurs, because there's group think that goes on, and being outside of Silicon Valley allowed us to be, I think, more creative and living in the natural beauty that we have here. Bozeman is a community, university town of about 40,000. We have 5 mountain ranges all the way around, blue ribbon trout streams, rock climbing, skiing, whitewater rafting, all within a 20-minute drive. And no one has a big commute. The most is 10 or 15 minutes. So that means employees tend to spend more time at work, and they also get more time at home. So families are happier. There's also one of the things I like about a small community is there's something I did not expect when I moved here. I call it it's small town accountability. In a big city, let's say you're working in San Francisco, the people you're at work with are different than the people that you see at home at soccer practice with your kids or these sorts of things. So there's a certain anonymity that occurs. You can separate those two lives. In a small town, you can't do that. So if you're an idiot at work in a small town, you're still an idiot when you get home. So that's a very positive impact on corporate culture, which was also a benefit. So we focused on leadership, and we couldn't necessarily hire all the time. I would put our management team up against anybody's, but we had to spend more energy growing our own talent, and I think that allowed us to inculcate the culture we wanted, and combining that with the Montana work ethic, which is unsurpassed, was really a competitive advantage for us.
So how much were you able to hire within Montana from the Montana region, and how much did you have to hire outside and move people to Montana?
All of the above. But I will say our experience was the most fertile field for hiring was either Montanans or people who had grown up here but moved away because they had family ties here. So we did a lot of things. We had a website that was entitled www.iloveithere.com, and we bought billboards on the highway between the airport and the ski area, and it basically said, "Live the dream. You can work here and have a fabulous career."
And how many at your peak? How many people worked at RightNow in Montana?
So we had 1,100 people total globally in 17 offices. About half were in Montana. So we were the largest commercial employer in Bozeman, and now that business was sold to Oracle. They're now the largest commercial employer. In fact, we just broke ground on another building for them, so they continue to expand here. So it was a great outcome.
And what have you done, your success and the leadership role that you have played, what has that done to the Montana entrepreneurship ecosystem? Have you developed much of an ecosystem there now?
Well, it's been really a joy to see. I think now there's been between 1 and 2 dozen companies that have spun out of RightNow that are like this next generation of technology companies. In fact, about 18 months ago, we started a nonprofit high-tech business alliance, which is essentially a trade organization. And we really didn't know how many tech firms were here because they're nearly invisible. They exist in business parks. They generally don't have customers in the state. They're here for the quality of life and the quality of the employees. Well, I'm happy to report that we have 255 member companies now in Montana. This sector, we did an economic impact study on it earlier this year, and we found it's already 10 to 15% of the state economy, growing 8 to 10 times faster than the state economy, and creating jobs that are double the state median. So other people are realizing this is a huge opportunity. That website is mthightech.org. Many of these companies are hiring. There's a jobs portal there. If people want to come to Montana and further their tech career, we'd encourage them to sign up.
Awesome. So, we just started working with Delaware and the Delaware Economic Development Office, and they found us. They found 1 million by 1 million, and the person who runs that small business program was following these roundtables for a year, and then he kind of sold the partnership internally, and now we are essentially the program that we have set up with them is the Delaware government has bought a whole bunch of 1 million by 1 million premium membership, and they are giving those out to a whole bunch of Delaware companies to incubate with us. And as a result, they will be following the same mantra of bootstrap startups and not be running after financing. I've given a bunch of press statements because immediately, as soon as this partnership was announced, the local media in Delaware were reporting, oh, this is going to help raise Silicon Valley financing. I'm like, no, That's not what we're going to do. We're going to help them build businesses. We're going to teach them how to, sell, how to market, how to get to customers. And so, we're very, very interested in facilitating this kind of economic development. The other place where I've seen a very interesting, kind of movement of tech startups happening is in Utah. I don't know if you're following what's happening in Utah. There's been the big acquisition, the first company that, like you were the anchor company, anchor success story in Montana. Omniture was a big success story in Utah. And Adobe bought Omniture. Now there's a whole bunch of really, really good companies, starting up and getting to some scale in Utah. So are you in touch with other economic development organizations that are trying to do what you've done in Montana?
We have had some inquiries. My focus has really been Montana, although I know Josh James well at Omniture, and I sit on one board down in Salt Lake, and it's amazing what's going on there. And you're absolutely right. Once you have an anchor client that has demonstrated, what people need are role models that this can happen, and we're seeing that now in Montana. So our goal has been to make Montana high-tech not be a contradiction in terms. Because people think of Montana, they think of cowboys and open range and mountains and quality of life. They don't necessarily think of high-wage jobs. So we're trying to connect the dots on that.
And are you going to, I've read a little bit of speculation, are you going to seek political office?
Well, about 6 weeks ago, I filed an exploratory committee for the governor of the state of Montana. So at this point, I'm out talking to Montanans about what they want. And the reality is, as I mentioned earlier, Montana is 49th in the country in wages. And the tragic consequence of that is many of our young people who are bright and very capable have to leave the state to find a job that pays a decent wage. And so that's the problem. If that's something that Montanans want me to go to work on, that's the question I'm exploring at this point.
And if you were to, if you were to win that position, what is the strategy that you would follow to scale what you have been able to achieve, at a limited scale? But how are you going to scale that?
Well, I'm a big believer in the free market, and that opportunity and prosperity is really only created. There's not the primary role for government is stay out of the way. But there is a role in education. One of the things we did here in the state, we didn't have enough computer science graduates. So in 2013, we only had 40 computer science graduates in the whole state across 30,000 college students. So we started, me and another gentleman here locally, Rob Irizarry, we started a program called Code Montana. And we bought online digital curriculum from two guys out of Stanford, and we made it available free of charge to every high school and middle school student in the state. And I'm thrilled to report that our computer science enrollment at two of our universities in the state has gone up over 50% in the last 2 years. Because at the end of the day, although tech companies create jobs for all kinds of people, for salespeople, accountants, administrators, if you don't have the techies, that's like the seed to a farmer. You don't get a crop. So we needed more high school students pursuing computer science, and I'm thrilled that we're able to do that. I think the state has a role in encouraging young people to connect the dots between education and economic outcomes. And so techie is one direction, but we also have lots of jobs here in the state in our construction industry, in manufacturing, other areas. Not everybody's going to go get a 4-year degree, but learning how to weld or swing a hammer does create a career that allows them to support a family and thrive. So I think education is a big part of what is necessary. And somehow in this country, and particularly in Montana, we have a disconnect between educational pursuits and economic outcomes. I think we need to connect the dots on those.
And if you were to extrapolate that thinking to the federal level, to national level, is it the same logic? Is there anything else that you think the government should be doing?
Well, I think that at a national level, we continue to fall behind relative to other countries in our education area. You can see, just look at the data, we keep dropping. I have this crazy idea, you probably agree with me, but I think computers are here to stay. I personally would like to see computer science education in every high school. Now, I think these education decisions, though, are better made at a local level, where the specifics of local municipalities and states can handle that. I'm not sure there's a big federal mandate to stick their fingers in those areas, because the states do a pretty good job, and there's more that could be done, though.
So my take on that is, at the minimum, some amount of programming and some amount of entrepreneurship education should be compulsory, actually, as part of college education.
I think it should be, actually, even at the high school level, I think it should be part of the core math curriculum. And I think it just makes sense. I think, any college student I talk to, even if they say, I'm studying anthropology, I tell them, you should do a minor in computer science. In our household, we have 4 children. They're aged 26 to 19, and we follow the Henry Ford approach to education in our home, where we told our kids they could study anything they want as long as it's engineering. And and our kids are doing well. In fact, our daughter just finished her freshman year last spring in computer science at Stanford, and she came home to Bozeman. She got a job with a tech firm, and they paid her what you'd normally pay a college freshman, $10 an hour. That was perfectly fair. But this company here in Bozeman, it's actually a former coworker at RightNow Technologies, started this company. They're now up to 50 employees, high-wage jobs for college graduates. They trained her for 1 week, and my daughter, Rachel, they started billing her out at $200 an hour. So
they were paying her $10 an hour, billing her at $200 an hour. Wow.
I said, Rachel, you've just had your first course in economics. It was a great experience. There's no regrets, but it just shows you the level of demand.
Yeah, that's awesome. Fabulous. So, Greg, shall we talk to some of our entrepreneurs here today?
Sure.
So the first, before we get started, folks, I just want to set your expectations a bit. This is a working session. All of you who are pitching today, please know that we are here because we want you to succeed, and we are on your side. This is not some Shark Tank kind of thing where we are, interested in gratuitously insulting you and criticizing you for the entertainment of others. That's not why we're here. We're here to help you move the needle forward. We know you're doing your best, but we've been doing this for a while. So in some areas, for first-time entrepreneurs especially, we believe that we do have some knowledge and experience to share with you. And all of you have the potential to succeed, but there may be tweaks needed. There may be, course corrections and adjustments needed. You may disagree with our feedback, but don't feel bad. Ultimately, you will make the decision for your business. Remember, we've talked quite a lot today already about raising money. Please don't be obsessive about raising money. Not all businesses can raise money. Not all businesses should raise money, and raising money does not guarantee success. Getting customers guarantees success, so that's a very big part of our philosophy here. And we are here to work on your business. So doing something is hard. We understand that. We respect that. And we are here to help you make that journey slightly easier. And if you're not pitching today, please participate by asking questions in the public chat. We'll also open up the line for you to call in later on in the session. And by asking questions, by engaging, you learn more. This is the same philosophy as in class, wherever you are, we were in school or are in school. The more you ask questions, the more it enables you to develop a deeper perspective. So let's get started. Ina Morgan from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Please unmute your line, Ina, and tell us what you're working on.
Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Excellent. So my name is Ina. I'm currently in Edmonton. That picture is a tiny, tiny me standing in the middle of a giant frozen lake in Alberta. I love the outdoors. And a fun fact about me is that I'm a bit of a road warrior. So I travel a lot, And that's actually the theme of my business that I'm here to talk to you about today. Next slide. So our business is called AirsEarth. I founded it with a friend and a colleague of mine who's in Montreal. And our value proposition is that we offer automated solutions for flight disruption. So flight disruption is when an airline has a flight that's delayed significantly or has been canceled. And it actually costs airlines a lot of money in order to kind of get back on track after disruptions like these. And currently, there is not a solution in the industry that solves the problem of managing flight disruptions at a low cost until we came along. Next slide. So the problem is that no matter what the passenger can do when a flight is disrupted, it's always manual and it's always time consuming. So they can stand in line for a service desk, they can try and call a company rep, or they can use a self-service rebooking app. But all of those things are inefficient. So our solution is a B2B SaaS product that is an automated rebooking engine for airlines. So we've built the prototype, we have the engine built. Essentially what happens is we use the data from the airline on passenger numbers. So every passenger has their own PNR, their own number. And based on those numbers, we're able to rebook them automatically. On the user experience side of things, the passenger gets a text message that lets them know that, hey, your flight has been canceled or delayed. Here's some options for a new flight, and all they have to text back is their preferred choice of a new flight. And then we take care of the luggage or their baggage. We take care of any compensation via a mobile gift card, and we make sure they get the new boarding pass on their phone, or they can go to the customer service desk and print off the new boarding pass. Next slide, please. So the way we've been going about acquiring customers is really just using cold emails and cold calls. We've been looking at LinkedIn for airline executives. We've identified a number of airlines, and I've actually spoken to a number of airlines. I'm going to get into that on the next slide, but essentially, yeah, the way to go about it is just figuring out sort of who's the decision maker at the airline and what can they tell us. So as far as sort of customer validation goes and the work that we've done so far is we've talked to WestJet, Virgin Australia, and Delta. And the problem that we are running into over and over again is that none of these companies want to be early adopters. So instead of kind of going to local companies, so WestJet, for example, is a Canadian airline, or going to companies who are known to have customer service issues like Delta or Virgin Australia, we're actually focusing on looking at smaller airlines who would be okay with doing a pilot. So all the feedback that we've had from the airlines so far is that this is a great idea, we're very interested, but we don't want to be your guinea pig. So we want to see the full suite of your offering, but the reason why we need to do a pilot with a company is just because we need a client to actually pay us per. So the way we charge, the way we monetize, is we charge about $1 for every passenger that we reaccommodate, and that money helps us actually deal with our costs, which are the text messaging service, as well as the pinging service for passenger information. So for every passenger, it costs a few cents to get their information, and it costs also a few cents to send the text message. So
how many airlines have you talked to, and especially people who are directly responsible for this function? How many airline executives have you talked to?
So far we've talked to 5. So the 3 on the screen, and then we also talked to Porter, and we talked to a few European ones. We are actually Porter, so Porter is the Canadian, it's a smaller Canadian airline. We actually have a call with them in a couple weeks. So yeah, so basically at the stage that we're at is we have the product ready to go. We've bootstrapped so far, and all we need is essentially our first client to really validate the idea and show the bigger airlines that this actually works.
So my take, I don't know What Greg would say, we'll find out shortly. My take is that you need to talk to a lot more airline executives to find those early adopters who are likely to actually start working with you sooner as opposed to 18 months later. Greg, what do you say?
Yeah, I would agree. I'm always a little concerned when an entrepreneur builds the product first and then goes to market.
Yeah.
I kind of flip it around. This early adopter that Samana is talking about, if they have a real need and the pain is acute enough, they'd even pay for your development. I would go sell a project and take your value prop and skinny it way back to something that you can get done with the resources you have available.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think, because we're fairly young. We started a few months ago. So yeah, we're in the process of talking to more people. The reason why we built the engine first is it really didn't take a lot of work at all. Like, it was a very quick thing to do. And it did come out of, so Jason, actually, I should give some context. Jason, who's the co-founder with me, he's worked in the industry for about 20 years. So he, this pain is something that he saw over and over again, and so kind of it's just a way to, he already has his foot in the door. It's just a matter of us to find.
I would just say that often, when you're at this early stage, you don't know what you don't know. And in the discussions with these prospective clients, you may find out that the rebooking isn't the really thing that's costing them money, it's the luggage. You just don't know. And once you have a product, you're kind of wedded to that technology, and you're not as open to hearing the other pain points that once you have a product, they sound as if they're off target, but when you're still investigating what the pain point is, it's a lot easier when you don't have any investment in code to adjust to respond to the specific problem. Because you want to find somebody that has a headache and find an aspirin. You don't want to do brain surgery. You want to start small, just get the cash flow started, build a relationship, earn the right to become strategic. And that would be my other concern, is that you're solving a big, hairy problem here. The question is someone willing to really solve that problem with a startup? Is there a smaller problem that's kind of a nuisance thing that they would swat at? Maybe they wouldn't give you hundreds of thousands, but they give you tens of thousands of dollars to solve it, to make the nuisance go away. And I'd try and find a way to start on that.
And you need to talk to a lot more people. You shouldn't be talking to 5 people. You should be talking to, 50 people, 100 people, 200 people who are directly exposed to this problem, and really immerse yourselves in their knowledge and start extracting what you can learn, what you can codify, and what you can build a minimum viable product out of. Okay?
Yeah, thank you very much.
Do you have any other questions?
No, I think actually your interview with Greg answered a lot of my sort of bootstrapping questions, and it really resonated with me sort of going after the client first, and I appreciate your feedback, Greg. Thank you. I think we should kind of break it down a little bit and just talk more and more. But thank you very much.
Okay. Sohail Agarwal, next.
Hello, good morning, entrepreneurs. I am Sohail Agarwal, and when I started the development of this project, I was in Brazil. Then I moved to India, and then now I'm in Denver. So, next slide, please. Next slide, please. So my proposition here is that I sharing the transportation, sharing the ride would benefit the lives of people in many ways. And the name of my business is vamosgazab.com. And it focuses on ride sharing and gets people together. Next slide, please. So now, who is my target customer? When I was new in Brazil, I found it very difficult to travel to other places because of high expense in the bus and airplanes, and I would like to get a ride with someone. So I looked at it from a student point of view who would love to travel to other cities but don't want to spend a lot on expensive transportation. And then I met older people who want to make friends, who want to socialize, but don't have the time due to business restrictions. And then the foreigners who are new to a city, and don't have a car to travel around, but they miss the luxury of their cars at home. And the fourth one can be into a big broader category, but at this moment I put in just one example. Working professionals living far away from the airports have to go to the airport in their car, park the car over there for a long period of time, 3-4 days, pay the parking and come back driving, and they don't want to do this. I mean, why do waste money on parking when you have other ways? So next slide, please.
So which of these categories, which of these target customer categories do you think is the most interesting from a business point of view that you can monetize seriously?
From the business point of view, the students who want to travel to other cities but don't want to spend a lot of more on transportation. That is the place where I plan to get a lot of income from. Okay. Yes. And now how am I solving this problem? I believe that we don't have to waste extra time while making friends. During a car ride, people like to talk a lot, and we can develop friendship in the car. Students can visit these places cheaply. Foreigners can get the comfort of their cars without having to buy any car in the new place. And people traveling to airports can just get a ride to the airport and go get their work done. And when they come back, they get another ride to their home with someone who just went to there and didn't have to park there. Next slide. Now this is as we have just finished the product development in fact 3 weeks ago. The website was fully completed, and then I'm fairly new to this customer acquisition also. So I tried to market my website on Google using Google AdWords, and I tried to do it on the social media a little bit. But in the future, I plan to get a little more number of rides. So using gasoline, putting my posters on gasoline pumps, college campus, and parking spots and other places in the bars. And
do you have any customers?
At this moment, no. I don't have any customers.
Why don't you have any customers? How can you get into a business where you don't have any customers? Did you talk to anybody before developing this product?
Yes, before developing this product, I went to the college campus in my city in Brazil, and I conducted a little survey there, and the college people seem to be really interested in this, and so I got together and made this project.
So where do you plan to launch this? You're talking about Brazil, then you're talking about Kolkata, India, then you're talking about Denver, Colorado. Where do you plan to?
So at this moment, the best possible solution would be to launch this product, to launch this business in Denver, Colorado itself.
Okay. And, so have you talked to any college campus have you talked to students on a college campus in Denver?
Yes, I was there in Denver college campus, and I tried to make some friends, but I found that the American people here are a little bit cold towards I didn't find a little warmth in them, so it kind of didn't work out. But I will go there again with some of my more friends, with my partner, and try to do it again in the college campus. And then customer. So the first point here to look at would be to get. Our plan would be to get many users in a particular geographical area, then getting many users in many geographical area. Because suppose I get 1,000 users in Denver, Colorado area, that will be better than having one user each in 100 cities of US. So that is what our focus is now. Now customer validation, there should be a balance between the ride offers and the ride seekers. So we have 10 guys who are offering rides. It is important to have a close or a little more around that who want to seek a ride. And then in the Denver metro area, there are 70,000 plus students. In the Denver metro, there are 640,000 people, 640,000 people, and the Boulder, which is the city next by, has 300,000 people. and Colorado together has 5 million plus people. So that is our current market share. Well, that is our current user base.
No, that is not your current user base. That is your current target market. Now, what is your business model? How do you make money?
Next slide, please. So the business model is when a ride offerer posts his ride on our website, we display all his information except the contact information, and the ride seeker gets to see everything. And if he wants to go ahead and talk with the guy who is offering the ride, he has to pay $1 or $1 minimum or 10% of the ride cost to the website, so that we will display his contact details to the ride seeker. And then after that, they meet up together, they pay the money. That is their headache. But our is minimum $1, but 10% of the ride. And for yes.
Where do people go if let's say you start with the Denver student community? Are there routes that these Denver student community constantly want to travel? Like, is Denver to Boulder a popular route, or is Denver to Rocky Mountain National Park a popular route? What have you learned? Have you researched the common routes?
Yes, I have learned that Denver University to any mountain place, to the sand dunes, to Rocky Mountain Estes Park, to Boulder, to the airport is a very common route. And the bus services on this route is pathetic. When I first had a chance to go to the Denver International Airport, I almost cried because it was like 1.5 hours from my home, the bus journey. But in the car, if I went in a car, it would be 30 minutes. And the Denver airport from my home is 50 miles. And in the US, if I did that, I would pay less than $5 on gasoline if I went alone with my friend.
Greg, what are your thoughts?
So, well, I like the sharing economy. I think that's good. I think as I think about businesses, the first question I always ask is, who is your customer? And usually I follow by saying, given you can pick any set of customers in the universe, I like picking customers that actually have money. I'm not sure students are ones that have surplus cash to pay. That's why I've always done business-to-business businesses. I think there's an opportunity here. The challenge is this is only going to grow through viral demand, and you're exactly right. You need both the right offerers and the right receivers. I think it's a tough row to hoe. I do like the sharing economy. It's how do you get that critical mass? That's the challenge you're going to face. I mean, one question I'd have is if I was getting a ride up to Rocky Mountain National Park, how do I get back? I mean, maybe you've thought this through. Are these all round trips? Do the travel times have to match exactly? And I think I agree with Samana. You just need to get into the marketplace. All things being equal, though, I would pick a customer that has money.
Right. That is a very good point which you have mentioned, Craig. And but the point here is that I'm charging just $1, and so that is why I'm keeping the cost very low. So I mean, regardless of it being a professional or a student, people like to travel. That's what the general consensus I could make out, that these guys like to travel. And why do they don't travel? Because they don't have good options. So,
but look, Sohail, I think that part of what you're missing here is that if let's say a student is giving rides to another student, for example, they would want to split the cost of the ride. They may be okay paying you 10%, but I think what they're really looking to do is amortize the cost of that ride across multiple passengers. So you're going to need to, I actually don't have a problem with your student category, because I think the advantage with the student category in your value proposition is they are strapped for money. They are looking to, reduce the cost of travel, and you're right, taxi rides are very expensive and bus rides are very time consuming. So somewhere a sharing economy offering a happy medium, I think, is actually attractive, but you have to find a critical mass. Let me suggest something. You were saying that you sound like you're relatively new to America.
Yes.
And so maybe you should start in a community where you feel comfortable. There are, Indian communities. You are from India originally. There are Indian communities in every town. So maybe in the Denver area, you go to the Indian community and start interfacing there with the students that come to the Indian community, or go to the Indian Association of Denver University and start there.
Okay, right.
But somehow you're going to have to get into your customer base and start transacting as soon as possible. Yeah. Writing a website or an app is not going to get you into business. Customers and transactions is going to get you into business.
Exactly. And now another thing about publicity. The next slide, please. So now I felt that apart from the points that we have discussed, is the look of the design and the website also a major part in the business?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And yes, and so now that gets me to the point. As you have already cleared that you should not look for investments. I mean, is that the correct way to go about it then?
At this point, there's no point looking for investment. No one is going to give you a penny.
Okay.
Based on where you are in your, your concept is very nebulous, pretty unproven. You don't even know what segment you're going to penetrate, how you're going to penetrate, how you're going to scale. This is not a point where anybody is going to give you any money. So your only option if you want to build this business is to find a target segment where you can actually start validating, transacting, and start generating revenues.
Okay. So once suppose I get successful, and so let us consider I get successful in getting a few users and transacting money. So then will people be interested in this website?
After you get a lot of money.
Okay.
A consumer concept will have to show a lot of traction before investors would be interested.
So if you go out and get a lot of customers and you have cash flow, you won't need to raise money.
Yes, exactly. Very nice, exactly. So then the whole point is that I have created this website with my time and money at this moment, and I have there's no foreign there is no external investment or anything. So you suggest I continue in this manner, put in a little more of my hard work and little more of my money to get you.
No, a lot more hard work. A lot more hard work, not a lot more of your money. You need to get customers to start paying you. That's where you have to get to as soon as possible.
Right. Okay. That's it. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for your help and your suggestions. I will surely keep this in mind.
Okay. Good luck.
Okay.
All right. The next presenter is Supriyo Ghosh Dastidar. Please go ahead. Supriyo?
Hello.
Go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, good evening to all my fellow entrepreneurs who are attending this fantastic show. My name is Supriyo Ghosh and I am from Calcutta. And as displayed in the slide, one fun thing about me that I'm very much restless in what I actually do. Now, the next slide, I have just given, coming to the next slide, I have just not given any name of the business because it's not yet finalized, and also my website URL or mobile app is not yet created. It's just at the stage of being conceptualized. I just want to share my business idea with you. It's a very nascent startup which is going to take place in India, which might after Flipkart or like Snapdeal. Is going to be something like services, or you can say like everything which can be accessed from a mobile or from internet.
Supriyo, you have a lot of stuff on your slides, and these slides are not readable. This is not the way to present. You cannot put this much material on slides and expect anybody to get any value out of them. Tell us a few things so that we can start understanding your business. What is your product or service? Who is the customer and what kind of traction? You've already said this is just concept stage business, so the traction issue doesn't even come up yet. So what is the product or the service and who are the customers?
Actually, I am focusing on building a platform for the customers who are actually aged between 16 to 35 or maybe more than that. Actually, it is going to be an online services marketplace. For example, if I want to repair my TV, I'm just going to switch on the app, and then I am going to book a package of TV repair, which is going to be provided by various traders, and you just have to pay a nominal booking fee of at least 20 or 25 rupees to book the service. And once the service gets booked, the TV repair, the one who is going to repair the TV, he is going to come to your house and he is going to repair the TV, and he is going to take his charge. So that's the basic concept in which I am working right now. For example, and also one more thing that I just want to add on, so not only for this TV repair or not only for this technical repairing service, I am also focusing on various services which can be given at home. For example, like beauty care. For example, I am looking forward to go to a party. Now, what I will do, I will definitely try to go to a nearby parlor. I'll definitely try to go for a coffee package of my facial or something like that. So why not? I can just do one thing. I can just switch on the app of my switch on the app which I am going to make. And one more thing, that I can also use the web version of this web version of the service marketplace. And once I go into the website, I will just book a service of like beauty care and facial care, and I'm just going to book it at a nominal price. It's just going to 20 rupees or 30 rupees, and this 20 or 30 rupees will just be the commission of the one who is going to provide this service. So they are going to get the money.
Hold on, you're saying a lot of things. You have to, and you put too much stuff on the slides. And what does that say to people who are listening? That you don't have clarity in your mind about what you're doing. You don't have a crisp, clear, brief, succinct understanding of what is it that you're trying to do. What you're trying to do in the services marketplace, you make money off those service projects by taking a commission, right? This is the classic services marketplace model. There have been many services marketplaces that have been successful up to a point in different geographies, and some have even gone public. So this is a model that we understand. Now, you want to do this in India, and from what I can see is your first question is, should you do it in a single city or maybe other cities? The obvious answer is you should do it. Can you actually try to reduce the noise on the call, because otherwise you can't hear anything, nobody can hear anything. So yes, you need to focus on one single city, because you need the buyers and sellers in one place. If you want somebody to come and repair your television, that cannot be if you're doing this in Calcutta. If the repairman is in Bombay, that's not going to be helpful. You need that repair person and the person seeking the repair both in the same city. So absolutely, you have to do it in one city, and you have to get critical mass in one city.
You told me right that you are talking that I'm just telling them, for example, if I start this service marketplace in Mumbai also, if for example a Mumbai customer books a repair service, the service provider of Mumbai, he will come to his house, not the one who is.
No, but you cannot manage. From a marketing and customer acquisition point of view, you will not be able to manage multiple cities at a time. It's expensive. Customer acquisition is expensive, especially these kinds of consumer businesses. It's very expensive to acquire customers. I would pick one or two categories, get critical mass of users in those categories. And so if it's TV repair, then you get a bunch of TV repair shops in one place, and try to figure out how you can get consumers to start transacting on your platform as quickly as possible. Without spending a lot of money. Once again, you have to do it without spending a lot of money, and you have to get customers to start paying.
Yes, exactly. That's the right thing. Because I actually had a conversation with few of the customers. I have done some of the numbers, and they are very much excited to hear about it. But once again, once if you don't start transacting, you cannot really study the metrics, so you cannot really get the actual number. So obviously you need customers, who can actually buy those products, who can actually transact in our website. That's a perfect point. And I am also interacting with more than 20-25 service providers in a single day, and they are also looking excited. They are even like whenever I am asking them that I am going to take 10 to 15% or maybe more than commission from them, they are very much excited to tell me that yes, I am willing to give you more commission. If you give me customers, I am willing to give you more consumers. Because look, nowadays, not even in Calcutta, if you find in any other city also, it has really become quite tough to get a proper expert. For example, when I was in class 6, I had to install my desktop all alone. I was not aware of that the CPU thing or that computer thing. So obviously, if I actually segregate from the customers, from a vast pool of customers and provide these services, I think they're definitely going to be interested. And it's not a high ticket size marketplace. You are paying 30 to 40 rupees instantly, and then you're just booking the service. I think it might work, but I'm not, I cannot.
So try it. Put together an app. I think in India, a large part of the user base are on mobiles, right?
Yes. Yeah,
so put together an app and get started with, don't spend a lot of money or time on building the app, but build the app and start putting some categories together and start transacting. And you have to do it very efficiently and very quickly. Maybe in a neighborhood, you get a bunch of repair shops and go to a neighborhood and figure out how you can get this neighborhood to adopt your technology, and do it organically and start building momentum organically. Now, you shouldn't be spending huge budgets. This is something that you're going to have to figure out a way to do it in a guerrilla marketing fashion.
Okay. Like if there's an example of guerrilla marketing, I'm quite listening to this market. So how I should promote this in the marketplace? Is there through social networking or like through Google, or maybe look, obviously if I'm not spending too much money, I am definitely not going to put banner ads, on the roads, because it's quite effective. It's quite costly.
Try to do it through Facebook. Try to do it through try to do it through Facebook and figure out there are strategies. Try to learn Facebook marketing, how to use Facebook to market, and do it that way. And just to answer the rest of your questions, you don't need a co-founder necessarily. That it's not it's not necessary. You don't have to have a co-founder. You want advice from me? I will explain to you how to work with 1 million by 1 million in the next segment.
Okay.
We're happy to. That's why we are here. We are happy to advise you. We are happy to help you learn how to.
It's very great, to take advice from you. And obviously, I'm looking forward to build something which is really going to be unique. Till now, we have seen so much conventional marketplace. We have heard about Flipkart, OLX, or Quicker, but no one has actually focus on this type of thing. When you are in residence, you can actually, or when you are in office, one can have any type of service he wants. So I think that is going to be, in the next few years, I really don't have any idea, but I can say that I can sense that this type of marketplaces are going to come in large numbers. Since we have seen that, once when Flipkart has out its journey, more than 50 to 60 Flipkart type marketplaces have already arrived in the market. So I think if this type of service marketplace kickstarts today, right now in India, I think in the next 5 to 6 years, whoever knows that I think more than 20-25 marketplaces will come, will arrive in the market. And one more thing that I just want to share with you, I really don't know that whether you're just going to acknowledge my viewpoint on it. But actually, the services thing is very much essential. For example, in a family of 5 people, you can just book a single mobile phone, right? But when it comes to services, each and every, you are having the opportunity to actually go to each and every 5 member of the family. For example, there is a boy, you can actually go to that boy, you can give a service according to his choice. If there is a girl, you can
but don't worry about that. For the moment, you again remember what Greg was saying is that you need a customer who has the money to pay. So if the adults have the money to pay, if it's a TV repair job, it's not the boy who's going to be paying you, it's one of the adults in the family who are going to be paying, who are probably the primary users of the mobile, and they are the ones you're interfacing with. So you cannot, if it's a mobile app, then you have to assume that the person who's using the mobile directly is going to be your customer. Okay. All right. So, Supriyo, why don't you hold on? I'm going to spend 5 minutes explaining to you how to use 1M1M, and then we'll come back to Q&A. We'll open up the line for Q&A in general, and we can talk more. But for the moment, give me 5 minutes to explain to you how to use 1M1M. Okay. So, folks, if you like what we are doing here, please refer 1M1M to serious entrepreneurs. We're looking for people who really want to build companies, and it takes a lot of time to build companies, and just keep that in mind. Everything, all the resources that we bring to the table are at 1mby1m.com. It's a completely virtual program, and you can access it from anywhere in the world. We have a fantastic blog, which is completely free. There's a tremendous amount of educational, informational material and inspirational material on there. So if you follow the blog, you will basically simmer and immerse yourself in that community and content, and it's very, very powerful. We have readers who've been following our work for many, many, many years. Is anybody else having problem with audio? I got a note from Manoj Chandran saying no audio. Is anybody else having difficulty hearing me? Maureen, is there an audio problem? No. Okay. All right. So let's keep going. You can also look at the Entrepreneur Journeys book series, and there you have 12 volumes of Entrepreneur Journeys. These are case study-based books. You know, in each case we have somewhere between 12 to 20 case studies of successful entrepreneurs who have shared their journeys, and we have talked about a specific subject with those case studies. So, you know, bootstrapping, as you can tell, based on this discussion with Greg, is a very big part of our mantra. So you have several books on bootstrapping. There's the first bootstrapping book, which is Entrepreneur Journeys Volume 2. Then we also have bootstrapping using services and bootstrapping with a paycheck, 2 places where we have 2 topics we have double-clicked down on. And the bootstrapping theme runs all through the series, actually. Even in billion-dollar unicorns, we have shown how, you know, people have used this bootstrap first, raise money later mantra. In fact, Greg is in the billion-dollar unicorns book, and several others. Tableau, Christian Chabot at Tableau has done the same thing, bootstrap first, raise money later. We're not against raising money, but we want you to raise money with a high probability and with good reason. If you're just gratuitously raising money, that doesn't make any sense, and if you shouldn't be wasting the early parts of your journey chasing money when you should be actually chasing customers. That's a key lesson that I want you to take away from this session. Okay, so just go through the website. There's tons of information. These free roundtables happen every week. This is the 279th session. We've had thousands and thousands of people participate over the years. You can go to the free public roundtable page and register to either attend or pitch. The premium program offers extensive methodology guidance. We have a great curriculum. We help you with business development. We offer you strategy consulting. We help you with financing and with getting the word out about your product or service. That's the $1,000 annual membership fee premium program. So you have 2 options. Either you come to these free roundtables and follow our free content on the blog, read the books, and then join the premium program. The real hands-on guidance and work that we do is through the premium program, and it's a proven program at this point with thousands and thousands of entrepreneurs going through it. You'll find some success stories of the program at the $1 Million Club page on the website. Our ROI is $375,000 plus 5 to 10% equity. We don't charge any equity, and we only charge you $1,000 a year. So the value that we offer is immense at a very, very affordable price point. Go ahead and look at the 1M1M self-assessment, especially if you're thinking about raising money and all that. You should put yourself through this self-assessment questionnaire and really calibrate where you are. So premium, there's a whole lot of information about the program on the website. So if you want to understand the premium program better, you can go to the FAQs, the video FAQs, and so forth. The curriculum is taught with case studies and video lectures. We've had over 600 successful entrepreneurs like Greg who have helped us build this curriculum through their case studies, and we have video lectures and case studies all through the program, all through the curriculum. You will learn a lot. The methodology is lean, capital-efficient, bootstrap startups. And that's pretty much it. That's an overview of how we work and what we do. Essentially, you know, your next step, if you have come here and you like it and you decide that you want to use 1M1M as your, you know, entrepreneurship coach, essentially, or accelerator, then you need to join the 1M1M premium program. And you can decide if this is for you. It is not for everybody, by the way. It is online learning. So if you're not comfortable with online learning, this is not going to be so comfortable for you. Don't expect that somebody is going to sit next to you and kind of be your in-person tutor. That's not how we work. We work like this. You know, we got a lot done today, right? With, you know, with Greg, with several of the entrepreneurs. This is a great, productive working session. And we have numerous sessions like this in the premium program, and this is how we work. And you will also have video lectures and case studies online to learn offline from. So to learn asynchronously from, not offline, online, but asynchronously. Now, if you are developing, we talked about economic development in Montana. We talked about economic development in Utah and Delaware, which is one of our partners. Through entrepreneurship, if this is something that you're trying to do in a certain geography, please feel free to call us, and we'll be delighted to work with you as an affiliate partner. We also have an incubator in a box program, which we are using in Delaware, and several other with several other partners. Upcoming free roundtables pretty much every week all through October. Vision India 2020 is a book that is largely focused on emerging market business ideas. So not just India, even though it uses India as the context, but you could apply these ideas to any of the emerging markets, Africa, Latin America, East Asia. And if you're still looking for an idea, this book will help you ideate. That's the purpose of Vision India 2020. We use the 1M1M incubator in a box with companies, governments, and so forth. It is our platform where we essentially accelerate companies and ideas on behalf of our partners. So we have a very large partnership with Oracle, and some of you from Oracle may be here today. We have an Oracle 1M1M challenge running right now. So if you're planning to apply for that, definitely, you know, we're looking forward to seeing your application and working with you in developing your idea within the Oracle 1M1M framework. Quick summary of the latest 1M1M Entrepreneur Journeys books: $1 Billion Unicorns, Carnival in the Cloud, Bootstrapping with a Paycheck, and From E-Commerce to Web 3.0 are the most recent 4 books. All of them, all Entrepreneur Journeys books are available on Amazon Kindle. They're very reasonably priced. And that's pretty much it. So we are ready for Q&A. We have plenty of time for Q&A. Now, protocol for Q&A is you can either dial in, let us know in public chat that you're dialing in, but the dialing numbers are all on your screen. You can also ask questions in public chat, so please feel free. And don't send me private messages. Set your public chat to send to all participants so that everybody can see the questions. I have a private message from Russell Jones to Maureen Kelly. Hi, my name is Russell Jones, edupreneur, bootstrapping on a paycheck. Awesome. It's my first time at the Roundtable Live, listening carefully, taking notes, and enjoying it tremendously. We'll have to leave in 20 minutes, so I want to thank you, Sramana and Greg, in advance. Thank you. Awesome. Glad you enjoyed, Russell. Who else? Who else has questions to ask? Please don't be shy, okay? This is a safe place. You know, we're here to work with you. We are on your side. The only reason we are here is because we are on your side. We want you to be successful. We have no, additional agenda or side agenda of working for somebody else. We are working for you on your behalf. Okay, Maureen is also supplying some popular questions from Quora this week. What qualities do venture capital firms look for in a startup? Okay, this is a question I answered on Quora this week. So here I will read out the answer for you while you're thinking about what questions to ask yourselves. So my answer here is, can your business scale hyper fast to a hyper large company? First and foremost, that's what they want to gauge. Then come other subjective things like, can the founder/team execute, scale, etc. Note, you've often heard me say that over 99% of the entrepreneurs who seek financing are rejected. This post offers a set of rejection statistics culled from credible sources on some of the key players. Y Combinator's rejection rate is 97.15%. Y Combinator started a summer program, and the roots still show, with courses running for 3 months, about the length of an academic summer break. Teams all join at the same time in batches. Applicants are rigorously screened and the best invited for interviews. For the latest batch, 74, including 6 nonprofits, were selected from a field of more than 2,600. Those lucky few get paid between $14,000 to $20,000 to attend. They've actually changed that. Now they're paying $120,000 to attend. In return, they have to hand over 7% of their firm's equity. Angel List is 98.8%. Most of the startups on Angel List don't get funded, just as most of the startups anywhere don't get funded. A recent Economist article quotes some specific numbers on Angel List as of 2013, I believe. Thanks to websites such as Angel List, startup financing has become more transparent. As of December 2013, it's 24,000 accredited investors. Between them had put $250 million into more than 1,000 startups of the total 85,000 listed on the site. Some of these startups, by the way, get funded outside of Angel List and still maintain their profile. So now this is 98.8% rejection rate, and recent Horowitz rejection rate is 99.3%, and so on. You can read the answer on Quora if you like. But I'm more interested in learning what your questions are and what are you working with, what are your projects, where are you dialing from. I'd like to get to know you, and you want to get to know each other, one another. So this is also a networking opportunity. So please tell us who you are, where you're joining from, what are you working on, what are your challenges. Pradeep Ramasetti says, hi Sramana, my name is Pradeep. We are a tech startup focusing on B2B business. How helpful is the 1M for tech startup into B2B space? It's, I would say a very large percentage of our companies are 1M startups in the B2B space. If you go to our website, you'll find lots of case studies under the $1 Million Club, as well as there are tons of testimonials. Our most successful company in that space, in the B2B space, is Freshdesk, that today has over 50,000 customers. Freshdesk has been in the program since the very beginning, and they were here for the first 3 years of their existence. And they went to raise money, and that's for our guidance, they went to raise money with paying customers. We made sure that they had everything validated, including what their pricing model, business model was going to be, pricing model was going to be, customer acquisition strategy. All that was worked out, and their first round of financing was $1 million seed round, Series A from Accel Partners. So, and then we have tons of other companies which are also bootstrapping. We have a very interesting company out of Florida in the B2B space called Happy Grasshopper. Happy Grasshopper has several $1 million in revenue. They are getting offers for financing, and they don't want to raise money. They just want to continue to bootstrap because they have a bootstrap profitable company that is doing nicely. And they're also getting offers for acquisition, which they have not taken any yet because, again, the company is scaling nicely and the entrepreneur feels very comfortable. But if the entrepreneur wants to sell or raise money, he is definitely in a very strong position to do so. Again, a company that started here in 1M and has been in the program for many years. So that's just a couple of examples. There are numerous others, and you can find them on our website. Does that answer your question? The philosophy that Greg and I discussed extensively today is very, very much central and core to our philosophy, which is bootstrap first, raise money later. You don't have to raise money. If you want to raise money, you can raise money. We don't force you to raise money. But we do want you to bootstrap to a position of strength so that you're not going to investors as beggars. That's not productive at all. Other introductions, please tell us, where are you joining from? And Pradeep, by the way, where are you calling from? Do tell us where you're joining from, what brings you here, what is your product, what is your service, what are you working on, what are your challenges? You're from Bangalore, great. Who else? While you're thinking about more questions, let me introduce you to Irina Patterson, who is your point of contact if you are evaluating the 1M program, if you're considering joining the premium program, and if you have questions, please feel free to email Irina at 1mby1m.com, and she will be happy to answer your questions. Pradeep says we are app analyze. We make SDN more secure, all right? Terrific. Who else? Who else has questions? Anybody? Questions, comments, introductions? Please don't feel shy, and please do not feel scared to ask questions. This is a place where you can be free, essentially. No one's judging you. No one's no one's trying to make you feel bad. Maureen, if you want to do another question from Quora, there's a funny question and I gave a very funny answer on Quora about do VCs have time to enjoy their money? If you can find that, why don't you put that up and I will read that out. It's a really funny one. Abhijit Bhattacharya is asking, can we have one-on-one help if we join the premium program? So the format is exactly what you experienced here. The one-on-one help is exactly the way you saw. You come and present your strategy, and I work with you one-on-one, but in this roundtable format. But in the these roundtables are premium members only. If you want additional one-on-one, as in private one-on-one help, then there's an extra charge for that. We charge $750 an hour for one-on-one help in the premium program. But we don't recommend it. You don't need it. We don't believe you need it. Anybody else? Here we go. There's a funny question that I answered on Quora yesterday. Do VCs have time to enjoy their money? Well, so my answer was yes, they do. It's not a time-intensive job. It's a judgment and network-intensive job. There's a joke in Silicon Valley. Question, why is it so difficult to get a meeting with a VC on Sand Hill Road on Wednesdays? The answer is it screws up 2 weekends. This is a joke, by the way. A lot of VCs I know work very hard. Okay, who else? Introductions, Abhijit Bhattacharya, where are you joining from and what are you working on? And who's here from Oracle? Are you clear on the Oracle 1M1M challenge? Do you have questions about the Oracle 1M1M challenge? Abhijit Bhattacharya is in Seattle from Cognizant, okay? So people who are working for large companies use a lot of bootstrapping using a paycheck techniques to get started with validating their ideas. We highly recommend that, actually. Costco is your client from Cognizant, okay? It's a great company. Costco is a fantastic company. Cognizant is a good company, too. Anybody else? We have 5 more minutes left. If you don't have more questions, if you don't want to introduce yourself, then we're going to adjourn the session. But we would, love to hear from you. There are so many people in the room that we haven't heard anything from. We don't know anything about you. You don't want to introduce yourself? You don't want to meet one another? Now, I just want to tell you a few things while you are thinking about more questions, is that what will happen if let's say you join the premium program. Today is Thursday, right? Let's say later today, you decide to join the premium program. Next Wednesday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific time, we have a private roundtable. You can start working on the curriculum today. If you join the program today, you can start working on the curriculum. I would say the first place you should start is the validation module in the curriculum. And, there's video lectures and case studies. You can study on your own time. Let's say if you're doing a bootstrapping using a paycheck thing and you have to study nights and weekends, that's okay. You come back from work, have dinner, and then maybe, play with your kids, and then you can go do a couple of hours of curriculum work, put on a headphone and go do some curriculum work, do the validation module, do the positioning module, and then on Wednesday you can bring your questions and we'll deal with those questions in the private roundtables. All that is part of the rhythm of the program. You do it repeat every week, week after week after week. You do curriculum work, you come and work with me in the roundtables, and we just make a lot of progress. Every roundtable you run things by us, and you'll get homeworks, and sometimes homeworks take a while to complete. Whether it's talking to 300 customers, that's going to take you a while, but you can create a strategy of how do you identify those customers, how do you reach out to those customers, can you get introduced to some of these people, all that we can work out in the roundtables. Let me take some questions from the public chat here. Manoj Chandran, don't send me private messages. Send messages to all participants so everybody can see them. So Manoj, one of your questions is how is startup validation done, especially in pre-launch phases? We have extensive curriculum material on all that. So if you join the program, you'll have access to all the curriculum material, and you can start following the exact methodology and get going. Most validation is done pre-launch basis. Abhijit Bhattacharya, this is the first time I'm joining here, so pardon me for silly questions. There are no silly questions. All questions are welcome. Do you help to get the right kind of contacts? Yes, absolutely. So we help extensively with business development. And you can tap into my LinkedIn network, which is enormous, and to the extent we can, where we have contacts, we will absolutely introduce you to the contacts. So that's what we call connecting of the dots. So we help you with business development, potential introductions to potential customers, channel partners, media, analysts, investors, wherever it makes sense, we will help you get introduced. Absolutely. Pradeep Ramasati, is there any complaints, issues to bootstrap and validate your idea while working for another company? Unless explicitly stated that the company does not want you to do that, it's usually not a problem. However, if you directly compete with your employer's business, that is going to be a problem if you're bootstrapping with a paycheck. So you have to work in an orthogonal way, in a domain that is orthogonal to your employer's business if you're doing bootstrapping with a paycheck. Supriya Ghosh, as you've said, I'm going to kickstart with Kolkata. Should it be an app-only platform or a web-based too? Start with just an app. You know, you have to start somewhere. So start with an app and get it going. Anybody else? One last question. We have time for one more question, and then we're going to have to wrap up. And we'll meet you back here next week, and we'll continue working together. All right, folks, that's it for today, 9:30 a.m. Pacific. We try to close at this point, and for some of you, it's already very late. I don't know if you had dinner yet, those of you who are in nighttime. So enjoy your evening and enjoy your day. Those of you, hope you have a productive working day, and we will meet you back here next week. Thank you very much for coming. I hope you found this a productive session. Bye-bye.